What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And just when you thought the New England Patriots offseason could not possibly get any more dramatic after the blockbuster A.J. Brown trade that sent the entire NFL world into a frenzy, we have a brand new storyline dropping right now that is sending shockwaves through Patriots Nation all over again. Because while everyone is still celebrating the arrival of one of the most dominant wide receivers in football, another receiver on this very same roster has reportedly told the football world exactly what he wants. And what he wants is out. So let us break down every single detail of this developing story right now because it is moving fast and it matters for the future of this roster. Let us start with the report that dropped Tuesday from Adam Schefter on his ESPN podcast. Because when Schefter speaks about a player being interested in a trade, you take it seriously immediately and completely. Schefter said plainly and directly that Patriots wide receiver Kayshon Boutte is interested in being traded this offseason. His exact words were that Boutte has not been present for the offseason program and that he has been interested in a trade, adding that he suspects something might happen with Boutte at some point this summer. Schefter even went further and said he would think that at some point this summer we may get action there. Another deal, Kayshon Boutte going somewhere else. That is not a vague rumor floated by someone with a loose source. That is Adam Schefter, the most connected insider in the sport, going on his own podcast and stating clearly that a Patriots receiver wants out of Foxborough. That changes the entire picture of this roster immediately. Now, here is the thing that makes this story so fascinating and so layered. Nobody should be remotely surprised by this. The writing has been on the wall for Boutte since the moment the A.J. Brown trade became inevitable. Think about the timeline of everything that has happened here. The Patriots signed Romeo Doubs to a massive 4-year, $68 million contract in free agency, immediately establishing him as a premium roster investment the team is committed to developing. They then completed the A.J. Brown trade, bringing in a 3-time Pro Bowl receiver who is unquestionably the #1 option in this offense from the moment he puts on a Patriots uniform. Brown is going to eat. Doubs is going to eat. Mac Hollins, who saw 13 more targets than Boutte in 2025 despite Boutte finishing with the second most receiving yards among receivers on the roster, is locked in as the reliable slot and possession option that every offense needs. Where exactly does Kayshon Boutte fit into that picture? The answer, honestly, is that he does not fit cleanly into the top of this depth chart anymore. And Boutte knows it better than anyone. And here is the detail that matters most when you understand Boutte's perspective and why his trade interest makes complete sense from a player standpoint. He is entering the final year of his rookie contract. This is the most important season of Kayshon Boutte's young professional career. The season where he either proves he is a legitimate NFL starter worthy of a meaningful second contract, or the season where he ends up becoming a backup and special teams contributor who signs a modest deal in free agency next spring. No player in that position wants to spend his contract year fighting for targets behind A.J. Brown, Romeo Doubs, and Mac Hollins. No player fighting for his financial future wants to be the 4th option in a passing attack when his entire value depends on producing at a starter level. Boutte is not asking for a trade because he is difficult or ungrateful or lacking competitive fire. He is asking for a trade because he is a professional athlete who understands exactly what his career situation demands right now, and staying in New England as a depth piece behind 3 established receivers is simply not compatible with what he needs this season to be. The numbers Boutte has put up during his first 3 NFL seasons actually make a compelling case for why some teams should be genuinely interested in acquiring him. He has produced 78 catches for 1,159 yards and 9 touchdowns across 34 career games, totals that translate to a legitimate starting receiver across the league. He finished as the 2nd leading receiver among wide receivers on the Patriots in 2025, showing genuine chemistry with Drake May and demonstrating the ability to win vertically and create separation against man coverage. He is 24 years old, affordable on a rookie contract, and has enough tape to prove he is not just a practice squad player or a depth roster filler. There are teams around this league with legitimate receiver needs who could plug Boutte into a starting lineup and get real production out of him immediately. The market for a young, affordable, proven receiver on a 1-year deal will not be hard to find once the Patriots put the word out officially. The question of what the Patriots can realistically get back in a Boutte trade is where analysts are split. Bleacher Report noted this week that it would be a surprise if a team offered anything of significance in return, and that the Patriots should be able to recoup at least the sixth-round pick they spent to select Bout in the 2023 draft at a minimum. A sixth-round pick coming back would essentially make the entire Boot chapter of New England's roster history a complete wash from a capital standpoint. They drafted him for a sixth-rounder, he produced real snaps and real yards during his time in Foxborough, and now he moves on to a new opportunity while the Patriots get their pick back and create roster clarity heading into training camp. That is a completely acceptable outcome for Elliott Wolf, and it is the kind of clean and efficient resolution that a well-run front office executes without drama or delay. There is also the possibility, which multiple reporters have floated throughout this offseason, that Boot ends up being used as additional sweetener in a separate trade rather than being moved independently. Whether that means including him as part of a deal for a defensive player, using him to reduce the cost in another offensive acquisition, or packaging him with a lower-round pick to land a roster upgrade at a different position. Boot has genuine trade value, and the Patriots front office is smart enough to maximize that value rather than simply releasing him for nothing. Every asset matters in roster building, and Boot walking out the door for a sixth-round pick or a mid-round selection keeps future flexibility alive for New England while solving the logjam at receiver immediately. The receiver room, as it now stands post-A.J. Brown trade, is actually a fascinating study in depth and role clarity. Brown is the unquestioned number one. Romeo Doubs, who signed that massive 4-year deal specifically to be a foundational piece of this offense, becomes the primary second option and the player who benefits most from the attention Brown commands on every single snap. Mac Hollins, who has carved out a reliable role as the possession receiver and red zone weapon who Drake May trusts in critical moments, continues to fill that specific and valuable function. And then there are developmental players like Kyle Dixon, the eye-opening undrafted free agent from Culver Stockton with the 40.5-inch vertical and the $252,500 in guaranteed money, who represents the kind of wild-card upside addition that Mike Vrabel's system has historically been excellent at developing from the ground up. The receiver room without Boot is not a depleted unit. It is a clearly defined, well-structured group with established roles and the most dominant player at the top of the depth chart that this franchise has fielded at the position in years. For Boot personally, a fresh start is probably the best outcome available to him right now given everything that has changed in New England. He is talented enough to start somewhere in this league. He is young enough that whoever acquires him is getting someone whose best football is still ahead of him. And the competitive fire that kept him coming to work every day, even as the trade rumors swirled around him all off-season, tells you he is not a player who is going to take his foot off the gas pedal just because his situation changed. Wherever Kayshon Boot lands next, that team is getting a motivated, hungry, affordable receiver who has something to prove and every reason in the world to go out and prove it. The Patriots offseason never stops delivering, and the Boot situation is just the latest reminder that building a championship roster is never as simple as making one blockbuster trade and calling it done. Every domino that falls creates another domino that needs to be addressed, and Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf are handling every single one of these situations with the calm, deliberate efficiency of a front office that knows exactly where it is headed. Subscribe to this channel right now and hit that notification bell because this Patriots roster is still evolving and every development matters as training camp approaches. Drop a comment below and tell me, where do you think Kayshon Boot lands after the trade, and which team makes the most sense as his destination? Let me hear it. Like this video, share it with your Patriots family, and I will catch you in the very next one. Let us go New England.